Hi guys, Sam Grecking here, and I just want to welcome you guys to my Q&A video. Thank you guys so much for sending in all your questions, and I hope I answer all of them throughout this video. Okay, let's get started. What is my background? My background is pure Italian. My mom is from Sicily in Italy, and my dad is from Venice in Italy. Do I have any siblings? Yes, I do. I have a brother who is 7, turning 8, and his name is Nicholas. I have one sister who's 9, turning 10, and her name is Haley. And I have a sister who's 11, and her name is Taylor. So, full house, big family. Do I have any pets? Yes, I have 2 dogs. I have one little Maltese Pomeranian mix, and his name is Ben. And then I have a really big Rottweiler whose name is Bear. Okay, so a lot of you guys asked me what my favorite things were, so I figured that I'll just answer them all. My favorite color is green. My favorite animal is a monkey. I love monkeys. They're just so cute, and they're like little humans. I find them so adorable. My favorite food is pasta because I have a nonna, which is a grandmother. She makes the best pasta in the world, and I could have it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. My favorite ice cream flavor? It would probably have to be cotton candy from Baskin and Robbins. I love it. My favorite style of dance? My favorite style of dance would have to be a tie between jazz and acro. Okay, moving on. When did you start dancing? Why and where? I started dancing when I was 6, and I absolutely hated it. My mom needed a break on Saturdays from me being a rambunctious kid, so she threw me in dance, and I never wanted to go. Every Saturday morning I would cry that I wanted to stay with my mom and didn't want to go. But my mom didn't want me to be a quitter, so she made me finish out the year, and by the end of the year I loved it and wanted to be signed up for the next year. And I started dancing at Performing Dance Arts, which is in Vaughan, Ontario. And then when I was about 10 or 11, I moved to Art and Soul Dance Company, which is in Kleinburg in Ontario as well. What are my hobbies other than dancing? I have a really bad shopping addiction, so if that could be considered a hobby, probably shopping. But I also love to sing, and yeah, I would have to say singing would definitely be one of my favorite hobbies. Before the next step, did you have a job? No, I didn't. I was in school and dancing full time, so I didn't really have time for a job. But in between filming, I did have a few jobs. I worked at Aritzia. I worked at, where else did I work? Oh, I worked at Aldo, which is a shoe company. And I also teach dance still to this day. I teach at 2 studios. How did I get on the next step? So, when I was dancing, the casting director of the next step reached out to all the local dance studios, and Art and Soul Dance Company was one of them. So I was a student there, and my dance teachers had told me about the audition, so I went. And it was a really long audition process. I had to go back a couple of times, and then we filmed something called a pilot. So I filmed the pilot, and once it was picked up by the network, I had to go back and re-audition all over again. So by this time it was all said and done, I pretty much auditioned for about a year until I was officially Stephanie from the next step. How old was I when I got the show? I was turning 16 when I first auditioned for the show, and then by the time we first started filming, I was turning 17 that summer. How did you feel when you got the role of Stephanie? So it's a funny story actually, because my mom had called me and I was on my way home from a friend's house, and she had asked me how I would feel if I didn't get the role of Stephanie, and I was like immediately devastated, and I was like, starting to tear up, and I was like, why? Like, what do you mean? And she was like, well, how would you feel? And I just started crying. And I was like, oh my goodness, I wanted it so bad. Blah, 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 blah. And she decides to turn around and say, well, good thing you don't need to feel like that because you are going to be Stephanie. And I pulled over. I was so mad at my mom, first of all. But I pulled over and I jumped out of the car and I was just freaking out. Oh, and there's my dog. Go away. Sorry. Come away. This is my boyfriend's dog. Come say hi. This is Kingston. Okay, bye. Yeah, so that was the story behind me getting Stephanie, but it was definitely one of the most amazing feelings anybody could ever. I can't even begin to explain it. Words will never be able to describe how I felt that day when I found out that I was going to be Stephanie. Okay, I love this question. How are you and Stephanie the same, and how are you different? Stephanie and I have a lot of similarities, but we also have a lot of differences. Auditioning for The Next Step, when I went in and auditioned, I wasn't auditioning for a specific character, so they kind of built Stephanie's character off of what they saw in me, Sam. Stephanie and I have a lot of similarities, but we also have a lot of differences. So our similarities would probably be the fact that we're, outspoken, outgoing, hardworking. We love to dance. We're a very loyal friend. We speak our minds, for sure. Yeah. Just in all that, Sam, go about things a little bit differently than Stephanie does. So if I have something to say in my everyday life, I'll probably go about it keeping in mind other people's feelings. Whereas I think Stephanie is just very blunt and harsh and sometimes can be hurtful in the things that she says. But other than that, we're very similar. I don't think I'm as mean as Stephanie comes across sometimes, but we do both have very big hearts and care for the people that we're surrounded by, our friends, our family, and all that. If I could play any other character on The Next Step, who would it be? I would have to probably say either Michelle or Riley. Only because I think that they're the most opposite of Stephanie. They're very, sweet and soft-spoken, and they get to play really cool roles that would be, really interesting for, me playing the tough, rough girl. To go to, the sweet and innocent girl would be a really cool change. What was my favorite scene or episode to film? So my favorite scene, still always to this day, would have to be from season 1, when we all went to the juice bar Squeezed, and Lamar, who plays West, dared me and Tiffany to go into the juice bar as Tiffany being my hands. So filming that was hilarious because it was all so real. All the laughter that you saw on TV was real laughter. It was so funny. I had lipstick all over my face. At one point she was feeding me an apple and I couldn't bite it. It was hilarious. And my favorite episodes haven't come out just yet, but they're probably the things that we filmed in Miami. Internationals. Oh, I love this question too. Is it hard being mean to the other cast members on the show? I would have to say the hardest person to be mean to, which is kind of the only person that I'm mean to, is Michelle. One, because she's so adorable, and two, because she's really one of my closest friends in real life. So usually when the scene cuts, I'll grab her and hug her and kiss her to death because I feel so awful being mean to her, but we know it's just our job. What is my favorite song from The Next Step? I would have to say it's called Play the Game, and it's sung by yours truly. What is my favorite memory with the cast? My favorite memory with the cast would probably have to be the first day of season 1, the first time that we all filmed. And we all got to the set, and it was nothing that any of us had ever seen before or done before, and we were all just kind of standing around in awe, couldn't believe that we were actually doing what we were doing. I think we all were so humbled, and we felt exactly the same way, and yeah, it was definitely a day that I'll never forget. Why do I love to dance? Um, I love to dance because it's always been my escape, even from when I was a little girl. I had a really hard time in elementary school and even in my early years of high school with bullying. And I would have really bummy days at school, and the only thing that I had to look forward to throughout the week was going to dance, and I could see all my friends. And when I danced, I just forgot about all the stuff that all the mean girls said during the day, and I just did something for me. And even as I got older, and still now, if I'm having, a bummy day or something's going wrong, I could just lock myself in the studio, play music, move around, and I just forget what's going on. What would I do if I didn't dance, and why? um if I didn't dance, I probably I can't speak. If I didn't dance, I would probably be a makeup artist. I love makeup, and yeah, I just have a passion for it. I would love to always do something that I have a passion for. So, definitely makeup, or maybe even something in fashion. Do you and the cast hang out off set? Um, Majority of us, yes. Um, we definitely all get along, and we try and see each other as much as possible when we're not working, but a lot of our lives, everybody gets busy, so sometimes it doesn't quite work out. But if there's one thing that we always make sure that we're present for is each other's birthdays. That's really when we all get a chance to come together and be together to bring in other people's birthdays. Okay, I love these questions. Do I speak any other languages, and what language would I like to learn to speak? So no, I don't speak any other language, and I would love to learn to speak Italian. I think that it would be so much easier to communicate with my grandparents, and I would love to go to Italy. So it would be so helpful if I could speak Italian, so when I went to Italy, it would be easier to communicate there and maybe, experience it a little bit differently than a tourist. And lastly, who inspires me? Um, in the industry that I'm inspired by all the people that I work with every day, especially the cast members of The Next Step. Everybody brings something to set every day that I think we all inspire each other and feed off of each other. So I would have to say definitely the people that I work with inspire me to be better and to, learn how to do the things that they can do and whatnot. And outside of work, my mom. My mom inspires me every day to be a great mother one day, and just to be a strong, independent, wonderful woman like she is. So yeah, I think I answered about 25 questions. I didn't want this video to be a million hours long. So subscribe to my channel, and I'll try and post on here at least once a week. Let me know what you guys want to see me doing, and hopefully I can make you guys happy. Thank you guys so much. I love you all, and see you next week.